All right, for all the gun voters in the 2nd Congressional District, Congressman Eli Crane versus Challenger Jack Smith. Who's going to fight for your gun rights in the United States Congress? Stay tuned, guys. We're breaking this race down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the American Firearms Association. The July 30 primary is almost here, and we're being asked by a lot of gun voters about this matchup in the 2nd Congressional between Congressman Eli Crane and his challenger Jack Smith. There's a lot of national eyes on this race right now for basically two primary reasons. Number one, Eli Crane's one of the top defenders of President Trump in the Congress today. That's why President Trump has endorsed him in his bid for re-election. And number two, it was Eli Crane and a small group of others in Congress last year who ousted Mega Rhino Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. Once he lost his speakership, McCarthy, in humiliation, resigns his seat in Congress, leaves D.C., and he's now on his revenge tour trying to punish all the conservatives who exposed him for the rhino that he was as a former Speaker of the House. And so we have a lot of national issues here, a lot of national endorsements, outside money, but this video is going to be very simple. You guys have asked us a simple question: who can we trust? Who can we count on to fight for our right to keep and bear arms? Everyone in a primary in Arizona is suddenly a champion. Everyone's a hero, everyone's a fighter, but so often, whether it's right here in Phoenix or whether it's in Congress, we see these guys get elected, they go into office, and they do nothing to fight for our gun rights. All those promises are forgotten, and sometimes they even join sides and fight with the Democrats to attack our gun rights. Right now, for example, in Congress, H.R. 715 is one of Joe Biden's top agenda items. It would register every firearm transaction in America, giving Joe Biden the biggest database of gun owners in this country. It would criminalize private party sales. It's got hundreds of co-sponsors, but it's not sponsored by Nancy Pelosi or AOC or some crazy liberal. No, it's sponsored by Republican Brian Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania. This is the kind of double-dealing backstabbing that happens so often right now. And so as gun owners, we have to be far more suspicious. We have to slow it down at election time, not just take a candidate at face value, but vet their actions, vet their deeds if they've been in office before and see what they've actually done to fight for your gun rights. That's what this video is going to do. We're going to give you guys some context on these two candidates and what they've done to actually fight for your gun rights to help you make your own most informed decision. We're going to begin with Congressman Eli Crane. Now, the first thing you should know about him, if you don't know, is his personal background. He's a retired Navy SEAL, 5 combat deployments, 13 years in the Navy. He won his first election to Congress just 2 years ago. This is his first bid for re-election. Now, a lot of times when a guy wins his first congressional seat, they go to D.C. and they just kind of like coast along for a long time. They don't sponsor any bills. They don't co-sponsor any bills. They don't really do anything. They kind of just sit there. They go to the cocktail parties, go to the fundraisers, and do nothing to actually fight for their constituents. But that's not been the case with Congressman Crane. This guy has co-sponsored virtually every gun bill of consequence in this last 2-year Congress. And more than that, he got a great big thing done just last month. I'm going to break all these down for you bit by bit so you guys have the actual facts. First things first, last month in the military budget appropriations process, Congressman Crane got an amendment successfully added to the package that would end this problem we have right now where veterans in this country lose their gun rights just because they have a fiduciary who handles their financial affairs. Right now, we have 265,000 veterans in this country who've been labeled prohibited in the NICS database only because they have somebody who watches over their finances. They've done nothing wrong, no criminal convictions, no mental health adjudications, nothing. They have to have help with their money, and for that reason alone, they have been labeled prohibited in the NICS system. Congressman Crane got that fixed in the budget. It's now over in the Senate's hands. We'll see if Chuck Schumer takes it out or if he passes it through. That's a major accomplishment for Congressman Crane in his first 2 years in the Congress. And from there, Congressman Crane has co-sponsored a tremendous amount of pro-gun bills. The number one bill here probably is H.R. 38. This is national reciprocity. You all know what this means. Our driver's license is good in all 50 states, but your permit to carry is only good in certain states. If you walk into the wrong state, you're screwed based on the mood of the prosecutor or attorney general in that state. This bill would give a national status to your concealed carry permit. It is badly needed in this country. Eli Crane agrees, a leading co-sponsor on that bill. One of my personal favorites, though, is H.R. 4436. This is the bill that tells the IRS you cannot own firearms or ammunition at all, and it gives them, I think it's a 45-day window to sell all they have in their inventory. The IRS is a bunch of paper-pushing bureaucrats. They don't need M4s, they don't need nods, they don't need IR lasers, and they damn sure don't need 500,000 rounds of ammo in a federal warehouse. Congressman Crane agrees, leading co-sponsor on H.R. 4436. This has to get done at some point, and at some point it will, but that does not go anywhere unless someone begins to push the agenda. That's what he's doing right now with this bill. H.R. 1271 is a major issue as well for gun owners right now. Everyone knows if you have an FFL or know someone who has, when you close your business down, you're required to submit all of your records, all of your sales receipts, all of your database to the ATF. Over the last 4 years now, under Joe Biden, the ATF has been merciless in going after small mom-and-pop gun dealers over paperwork problems. And the smallest paperwork problem leads to them suspending that person's ability to keep their business. And so when that happens, again, all of their sales information reverts to the ATF. That's BS. It's not their data. They shouldn't have access to that. This bill, H.R. 1271, would end that process altogether. And again, Congressman Crane is a leading co-sponsor on that bill. The same thing for 8906. This is a hot topic for the congressman as a veteran. Right now, the VA hospitals and all of their entities are off limits to gun owners. Everyone knows that. Problem is, no one's told the criminals, or actually, they have told the criminals, and the criminals know this, and they attack these places. It's happened quite a bit because they know that no good guys are there and no one can fight back. It's total BS. It shouldn't be that way. This bill would overturn all of that. And again, it was co-sponsored by Congressman Crane. The last two I've mentioned here today are House Joint Resolutions, HJRs. There's been two main attacks from Joe Biden recently against gun owners because this guy is pissed off. He can't pass gun control right now in Congress. So he end runs Congress, he bypasses them, and he grabs his pen and he signs executive orders attacking our gun rights. Two main examples. Number one, pistol braces. There's 40 million pistol braces in circulation right now in America. A year ago, they were perfectly legal. And then right now, they're not legal, or at least they were not until the courts told Joe Biden to go to hell. What the congressman did was joined an HJR, which put pressure back on the ATF and said, you have to follow the law. You have to follow the rulemaking process, the lawmaking process in this country, and that's our job as the Congress. You do not have the authority to bypass our body and mandate gun control by fiat. Thank God, again, the courts have blocked this. It's no longer an issue, but a lot of congressmen would not lead on that fight, wouldn't co-sponsor on that HJR. Congressman Crane did, and we thank him for it. The same thing for HJR 144. This is literally a month ago, maybe 2 months ago now, where Joe Biden comes out and says, I'm going to redefine what a firearms dealer is. Previously, for however many decades now, to be considered a dealer, you had to make an income from selling firearms, and it was your primary source of income. If you met that category, you had to have an FFL. Your guns are also through NICS checks. It's all on the books, so to speak. But if you didn't meet that category, if you sold a couple guns a year, sold your personal collection, wanted to downsize some of your things, your wife is nagging you, right, to get rid of some of your guns, that's not a person who is primarily engaged in the activity of making a profit from selling guns. Biden's definition now would change all of that. So now anybody in America who has the intended goal of making a profit from any firearm sale is now a dealer. The goal here is to criminalize the private sale of firearms. The goal is to have every firearm transaction in the NICS check system, in the ATF database. Total tyranny from a total tyrant, no surprise. Again, Congressman Crane pushed back on that with HJR 144. This is in court now already. Hopefully we have a response from the courts very soon. It's happening right now in real time. But every single thing that has been asked of Congressman Crane when it comes to gun rights, with almost No exceptions. The guy has been there, sponsoring good amendments here, co-sponsoring bills up and down the line. Let's just be honest. The number one reason why, the only reason why he's in this primary is because of the last great thing about him. Eli Crane is hated by Kevin McCarthy, and that's why we're all here in the first place. Kevin McCarthy is a vengeful old rhino who was pissed off that an upstart freshman, the way he perceives him, comes along and takes him out as Speaker of the House. There may have been a time back in the day when it was not a good thing to be hated by members of your own party, but these days, with the rhinos we have in D.C., like Kevin McCarthy, when someone like Eli Crane is hated by Kevin McCarthy, that's a very good sign that that person will be a fighter for conservative issues, in this case, the Second Amendment. That's our recap, guys, on Eli Crane. If you see him on the campaign trail, thank him. Thank him for fixing the veterans problem. Thank him for co-sponsoring so many bills. And thank him for helping to oust Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House. That, again, is the recap on Eli Crane. That brings up Jack Smith. This will be a lot shorter, I assure you. And the reason for it is that there's just nothing here to really go over. The background here, Jack is a former county supervisor, and I want to be clear, this is not the same Jack Smith who's been trying to put President Trump in prison. No direct affiliation. I'm sure McCarthy wished he'd picked a different name for his candidate to run against Eli Crane. Former supervisor, no record of fighting for gun rights in any capacity whatsoever. We went to his website and we counted, and we saw 15 words on his view on the Second Amendment. It's the same campaign fodder we get every 2 years, every 4 years, every 6 years from candidates. A basic throwaway line, I'll defend your gun rights. No detail. No idea what bills he would co-sponsor, what bills he would sponsor, which bills he'd be opposed to. Nothing. Just a token, one-line throwaway sentence about gun rights. That's it. Very weak stuff. There is nothing from him that our team could find on his social media platforms. I mean, nothing. Nothing. So for Jack Smith, guns is a means to an end. He trots out a little 15-word throwaway line, and that's it. Again, the reason why we're here is simply because Jack is Kevin McCarthy's boy. He has no history of fighting for freedom. He has no history of advocating for gun owners. He is simply the tool of McCarthy right now to prosecute this primary. There are millions of dollars being brought in right now from Kevin McCarthy in this primary, and that is the only reason why. So guys, if you see Jack Smith, ask him, what have you ever done? What have you ever in your life done to fight for my gun rights? What will you do if I elect you, put you in D.C.? See what he has to say, guys. I guarantee you it won't be very much. And again, if you see Eli Crane, thank him for his strong 2 years of fighting for gun rights in Congress. Guys, that's our recap in this race. Do me a favor, share it on X, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube. Get the word out between now and July 30. And to get more involved, go to joinafa.org.